This is I Like That Story, a Prairie Christmas episode number 10, Christmas 1870. This A Prairie Christmas episode of I Like That Story is brought to you by Evolution Consulting, nationwide consulting for style, speaking, and stage. The Christmas holiday is ancient. I like to read this entry from a diary to my children so they can see just how different things were in 1870, oftentimes very difficult, and yet at the same time how absolutely magical things were in the days before electricity, cell phones, and TV. Before I read from the writings of Reverend Francis Kilvert on Christmas Day almost 150 years ago, here are some thoughts, definitions, and explanations. The word cheville de frise describes a battlefield machine sort of like a portable barbed wire fence. When he mentions it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Wattled hurdles are jumps that look like wicker baskets, and a punt is a long, narrow boat. And Christmas Day, December 25th, is not the end of the holiday, but the beginning of a 12-day event that is much the same and still very much different, as you shall hear. Sunday, Christmas Day, 1870. As I lay awake praying in the early morning, I thought I heard the sound of distant bells. It was an intense frost. I lay down in my bath upon a sheet of thick ice which broke in the middle into large pieces, whilst sharp points and jagged edges stuck all around the sides of the tub like chevaux de frise, not particularly comforting to the naked thighs and loins, for the keen ice cut like broken glass. The ice water stung and scorched like fire. I had to collect the floating pieces of ice and pile them on a chair before I could use the sponge, and then I had to thaw the sponge in my hands, for it was a mass of ice. The morning was brilliant. Walked to the Sunday school with Gibbons, and the road sparkled with millions of rainbows, the 7 colors gleaming in every glittering point of frost. The church was very cold in spite of 2 roaring stove fires. Mr. V. preached and then went to the village Betto's. Monday, 26 December. Much warmer today, almost a thaw. Left the village of Cliro at 11 a.m. At Chippingham, my father and John were on the train platform. After dinner, we opened a hamper of game sent by the Venable family and found in it a pheasant, a hare, a brace of rabbits, a brace of woodcocks, and a turkey, just like them and their constant kindness. Tuesday, 27 December. After dinner, drove into Chippingham with my friend Perch and bought a pair of skates at Banks for 17 and 6. That would be 17 shillings and 6 pence, about $900 in today's money. Across the fields to the Draycut Water, and the young Audrey ladies chaffed me about my new skates. I had not been on skates since I was here last 5 years ago, and was very awkward for the first 10 minutes, but the knack soon came again. There was a distinguished company on the ice: Lady Dangan, Lord and Lady Royston, and Lord George Paget all skating, also Lord and Lady Sidney and Mr. Calcroft. I had the honor of being knocked down by Lord Royston, who was coming round suddenly on the outside edge. A large fire of logs burning within an enclosure of wattled hurdles. Harriet Audrey skated beautifully and jumped over a half-sunken punt. Arthur Law, skating, jumped over a chair on its legs. Wednesday, 28 December. An inch of snow fell last night, and as we walked to Draycut to skate, the snowstorm began again. As we passed Langley Burrell Church, we heard the strains of the fife and flute from the band on the ice at Draycut. The afternoon grew murky, and while we began to skate, the air was thick with falling snow. But it soon stopped, and gangs of laborers were at work immediately sweeping away the new fallen snow. The Lancers were beautifully skated that night. When it grew dark, the ice was lighted with Chinese lanterns, and the intense glare of blue, green, and crimson lights and magnesium riband made the whole place as light as day. Then people skated with torches. Thank you for listening. This story comes out of my syndicated radio show, A Prairie Christmas, a holiday gift from all of us at I Like That Story. ILikeThatStory.net is where you can find out more about the places I speak, the books I write, the podcasts, blogs, the CD of Christmas story favorites. Look us up on ILikeThatStory.net. And until next time, with music from Dan Schwartz, I'm Jeff Gould. Merry Christmas.